Greetings. Once again, we're here to make a toy. I'm going to show you how to print the pattern off, take it out in the shop, and we'll build it. First thing you need to do is get the pattern. Now I have the patterns sitting here in a folder, but what you can do is you can just take the picture that I'm about to take right here. I think we're going to do a tractor. And we need to find the tractor plan right down here. That's what we're about to build, and it's rather small. I make bigger ones as well. You can scale the plan up. If you hit your windows and your print screen, you can take a picture of that screen. You can purchase the wheels from AmericanWoodcrafterSupply.com. They're really good people. They're ship fast, etc. One thing I would suggest that you do is purchase your dowels not from them, because those are they're exactly a 1/4 inch, and yet when you do these dowels for the axles, you need them slightly larger because you need them to press in and fit. So I'd go down to my local big box store that has them. I get them from Home Depot. You pick them up from Lowe's as well, or Hayes Hardware. All of those work, but just take a wheel with you and make sure that it's tight when you take it. Okay, now here's the set of plans that you need. I'd do the same thing with it. I'd hit Control-Alt-Delete, I'd hit Windows and print screen, and I would copy that, take it right out there, and print it on your computer, cut it out, and print it from there. So that's where we're going to go. I'm going to sit here for a few moments, and I'm going to actually transfer that pattern so that I can cut it out a little bit different. I'm going to open up Inkscape. If you know what you're doing on this already, just ignore the rest of the video. Go right on out to the shop and do it. I do ask you, however, I did come up with this plan myself. I would ask you not to sell it commercially, but you're welcome to make as many of them as you want and just give them away. I actually donate them to a humanitarian with my church. I've sent hundreds of them overseas. So best thing in the world, give a toy away to a kid. All right, I'll see you out in the shop, or you can follow along. I go to Inkscape. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out a pattern for it. I like patterns, so I will go to File. I will import a pattern. I'm going to go to my desktop, which is where it's at, and on my desktop, there's a file called Toys. I'm going to go into Toys, Plans. I've already got the tractor as an SVG in Vehicles. And it's right down here, Tractor Plan. And if I open it, that's where I produced that thing that just went on the video. Okay, that you printed. So I'm going to enlarge it slightly. I'm going to pick it up and move it onto the page. All I actually want is the outline. So I'm going to take and I'm going to add a layer called layer number 2. I'm going to go down and I'm going to go back to layer 1. I'm going to lock layer 1. That way I don't change anything on layer 1. I'm going to go back to layer 2. I'm going to get just a lot closer to that. And then I'm going to start outlining it. I go to my Bezier curves, start here, and I'm just going to outline. I can tell where the holes will be, etc. But for you, I will actually cut them and do a few other things that I'm going to write on it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and select my curve or my circle tool. Hit the Control button and shift it down, and it gives you a perfectly round corner. Then you're going to go back up to the top and select it. I want to make that height and width on that corner right there. So now I'm going to make that 1/4 inch. It's actually slightly larger, but I'm going to put a 1/4 inch anyway. Then I'm going to copy that and paste it so I can move it right over here. And I'm going to center it right there. And I'm going to center this one right there. I'm going to write on it that the holes need be 9/32 inch. Okay. I should have said axle holes, but I'm okay with that. And I'm going to move it so that it's down here. I'm also going to reduce the font on it just ever so slightly. So I'm going to grab the corner, put it down there about like that. I'm going to just, for the kicks and giggles, I'm going to double click into it and change that to a capital H. At that point, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to delete my layer 1. So I have to unlock it and layer, delete current layer. Now that is what I need to transfer over and cut a pattern out with it. So I'm going to save it as tractor pattern. Tractor template. I'm going to go into toys. I'm going to go into toy plans. I'm going to go into SVG because that's where I'm working at them. You can see I made a small Healy template already, and I'm going to call this a tractor template. Now, at that point, I can exit out of that. I can also exit out of my image that you're working with, and I can open up Lightburn. In Lightburn, I'm going to import from that desktop folder called Toys, Toy Plans, Toy SVGs. There it is. Now, at this point, I'm ready to actually print my image, but I do need to change my COM to COM 10, and I'm going to scroll in on that. Now, when you do these, and I think I indicated this earlier, you go to your cuts and layers on the right-hand side. You're going to double-click on it. And mine, I happen to know, I cut best on this material at 0.7 inches per second at 100%, and that'll give me a good cutout. But it also needs to pass 4 times, and I'm okay on it. But then I'm going to look at this material here. I have to go to Arrange and Ungroup, because when it comes in from the other one, I want to change that. Instead of cutting it, I want to make it a line, double click on it. I want it to cut at 2 inches per second at 30%, and and only make one pass on it. That's a function of whatever your laser burner would do. I still want to cut out those holes, but I'm going to treat them a little bit different. I'm going to turn them to the blue. And then I'm going to come over here to blue. I want to cut it out at 0.7 inches per second at 100%. And I want it to do 4 passes. And you're going to say, hey, wait a minute, why didn't you just do it in black? Well, if I do it in black and it doesn't cut all the way through, but yet the pattern does cut all the way through, then I don't have a way of going back and making sure it cuts out. If I do it this way, and if I select it to be higher, the first thing that's cut, and I will select the red lettering to be the second thing that's cut, I'm ready to actually cut it, but I'm going to block this out so it won't cut out the outside, but it will cut out the inside. So if you hold for just a second, I'm going to go get my other camera so we can actually see it being cut. Over here, you can see that I'm ready to make sure that it fits on the plywood, so I'm going to hit frame. That's where it's going to cut out. Okay, at that point, you can see that my pattern is finished. I can push that other little ear out, and there we go. We will now take that in and I'll trace it. So I will see you in the shop.